Hello, this is Professor Dan Kernler of Elgin Community College. This video is part of my statistics series, and in this video, we're going to talk about different types of statistical studies and the conclusions that we can draw from them. So the two broad categories are observational studies and then designed experiments. Observational studies are just looking at data like in a poll, a survey, or institutional data where you're not controlling anything. Whereas with a designed experiment, in a designed experiment, you apply some treatment to the individuals here, and then you're measuring the effects in some response variable. So you have some control in a designed experiment. Why is that important? Well, with an observational study, you can only claim that there's a relationship, some association between two variables. Whereas with a designed experiment, you can actually claim causation, that one thing caused another. Let's look at an example of an observational study. This is a poll done by the Gallup organization, and they're talking about Americans' willingness to get the COVID-19 vaccine. They have this varying over time. You can see there's a little dip in there, and they actually have it broken down by different demographics. They have gender, age, and they have education is kind of an interesting one. So if we zoom in and look closely here, we have no college degree and then college degree. And if you look at the results over here, you can see that those with a college degree actually seem to be more willing to get the vaccine. Now, this is the important conclusion we can draw from that. Even though there is a difference by education level, this is just a survey. It is not an experiment. We didn't take 2,000 volunteers, force 1,000 to get a college education, take the other 1,000 and say, nope, you can only go to high school, you can't go to college, and then see if they were willing to get the vaccine. No, we just observed what was already there. So we can't claim that the education level is causing them to be more willing to get the vaccine. There might be some underlying variable, it's called a lurking variable, that makes them more willing to get an education and then also more willing to get the vaccine. Now, design experiments are different. I have a couple for you here, both dealing with race. The first is in housing. Now, in housing, if investigators want to determine if there is discrimination, they have to control for variables and make sure that race is the only difference. A common way they do this is they send out two potential renters or buyers, one who is white, one who is black, or if there is some other variable they want to control for, have one control and one experiment. In this case, they match the testers based on gender and their credit worthiness, etc., to rent or to purchase. What they found is that in terms of renting, black buyers were told about and shown less units. And in terms of home buyers, black potential home buyers were told about and shown much less potential homes. In general, white renters were more likely to be told that the deposit and the fees were negotiable, and they were more likely to be told about different incentives to rent. Black renters were shown more units with problems on average, and also told that the rent was higher on average. This one, unlike the previous one, because they controlled for race, the two testers were matched on age and gender and also were equally qualified. The researchers then can conclude that the differences based on race were simply because one potential renter or buyer appeared white and the other appeared black. We can assume that the perceived race caused those differences in results. Here's another one based on race. This is about hiring. These researchers, what they did is they made some fictitious resumes that had comparable experiences, education, etc. And they just gave half of them black-sounding names like Lakeisha Washington, Jamal Jones, and the other half white-sounding names like Emily Walsh and Greg Baker. This is a designed experiment where everything else is equal and all they did was control the names. And what they found is that those resumes with white-sounding names received 50% more callbacks. And again, because this one was a designed experiment, they made equally sounding, equally qualified resumes. The only difference was the perceived race of the name, the applicant. We can assume that that difference in results was caused by the perceived race of the applicant. So again, the big difference here, observational studies, these are just polls, surveys, maybe some institutional data that's been collected. You cannot claim that one variable causes another. But designed experiments, this is where we have some kind of treatment that we're applying and we're measuring the results and the effect on some response variable. In those, you can claim causation, that one variable caused the results in another. All right, that is it for this particular video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in seeing more of these, you can click the subscribe button with the bell. You'll get notified when I post more of them. Also, I want to give a big thank you to the Elgin Community College Board of Trustees who approved this video project as part of my sabbatical during the spring 2021 semester. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you at the next one.